One of my favourite ways to feed the garden is by liquid fertiliser. Nutrients are immediately absorbed through the roots and leaves, which is great for hungry summer fruiting vegetables like tomatoes and cucumbers, peppers, aubergines, zucchinis and melons. My summertime recipe is made up of comfrey, stinging nettle and cleavers, or bidibidis as most people know them. We make our fertiliser in 200 litre black bins. But for a home gardener, you can use a 20 litre pail like this. In the pail, what you want to do is add your green manure. You can add your cleavers, comfrey, your stinging nettles, and you can also add other things like thistles, some seaweed and other garden weeds. Just be careful not to add things from the tomato family. What you want to do is push it down as hard as you can, and then when it's full, fill this with water, cover with a lid and leave it. You leave it in the space for about a month. After that time, you'll find this has turned into a black liquid. Here's a barrel of the liquid fertiliser we made a couple months earlier. The lid sits loosely on top to stop any expansion of the barrel. You may notice in your barrel sometimes you have some little larvae floating in it. These are the hoverfly larvae and they're great for your garden. There's no need to worry about those. With the barrel, it always pays to give it a good stir before you use it to mix the mixture around. A lot settles on the bottom and that can be all turned up. This is also good to put on the garden at the end. It's a good mulch. Now when taking liquid out the barrel, we try to sort of make it the colour of weak tea. Now this is a little bit stronger, so we'll probably have to put 1/4 of a bucket of this in and 3/4 of a bucket of water. This can be poured straight over the plants and onto the leaves. This is just pure comfrey nettles and cleavers because that's really high in potassium, it's lower in nitrogen, and it's great for your fruiting crops like your tomatoes and your capsicums, and your beans and anything that's got a fruit on. If you're growing potatoes, it can almost double the crop of your potatoes by putting comfrey liquid over them. You can add fish heads and animal manure to it, but that's better for your winter crops, things like your kales and your silver beets and your green leafy vegetables. They don't have a fruit on and they don't need that high potassium content. Another really great way to feed your soil is with something we call black gold. If you can't make compost, this is a great alternative. We use 3 key ingredients. We use coffee grounds, seaweed, and preferably kelp if you can get it, and an animal manure. Here we have the nitrogen, the carbon, and all the minerals you need. You can put this on your bed over winter and layer it, cover it with black plastic. In spring you'll have a great compost that you can plant straight into. In this case, we're going to make it in the black plastic bag. The reason we make it in a black plastic bag is we can leave this in a sunny place and it can cook quickly. Then we can add this lovely rich additive into our garden and our plants can feed on that. So to do this, we need to layer it. So we're going to put layers of the coffee grounds, some of the seaweed, and you can see this is quite tough kelp, but with the other animal manures it will break down quickly. The difference between the seaweed and the kelp is the kelp has so many more minerals and it's a better form for your garden. If you can't get the kelp, which is mostly the west coast beaches, seaweed is still a good alternative. Now we'll add some of the cow manure, but you can also use sheep manure or chicken manure or horse manure if you can get it into your bin. Again, we do our second layer now and we'll add some more coffee grounds. Some more seaweed and some more manure. And we'll put a final layer of coffee back on the top. And we'll get this bag, leave it in a sunny place, but we won't seal it. We'll still let it breathe. And every so often, you can actually tip it over and move it, and that will help aerate it as well.